When I was growing up, I had like a weird family situation. Really early in my life, I realized that my parents weren't superheroes. Like my parents were separated when I was just really young. We started going to see my dad. His new family, like he had remarried, and his new family was like really different. It was like their family now, and I started to like not see my dad for a while. So fast forward a couple years, I would like hear things through the grapevine about my stepbrother and sisters, you know, they're going to college and they're getting cars when they're old enough to drive, and I'm like just over here, you know, hanging out. It was like hard not to be bitter toward my dad, just trying to understand what he was really going through. My dad got divorced from that lady, and she took everything he had, and he just hit rock bottom. And at that point, he's like, I have to reconnect with my kids because I don't have anything else. So I was like, hey, let's get lunch. Get over here. So I quickly got into this thing where we're hanging out every few days, and I'm realizing like, no, he's really in the depths right now, and feeling more and more like I have to keep hanging out with him because I'm scared of what might happen to him. I don't know what could happen if I just cut him off, you know. There was one point where I let him borrow some money, a few $100, and I was like, yeah, it's my dad, I'll let him borrow some money. And like a couple days after I let him borrow the money, he got picked up for trying to sell drugs. I was like, oh, great, you know. You put your trust in to somebody and try to build your relationship back up, and something like that happens, it's pretty disheartening. But at the same time, I was like, you know, he's really seems like he's giving up on life, and maybe this is what he needs to turn around. I might be all he had, you know. So he goes to jail. I think he was in jail for about 9 or 10 months, and he completely turned a new leaf while he was there, and decided to get clean, to just focus on what was really important in his life. So he gets out, and you know, he just worked really hard, stuck to it, and all along, like I talked to him while he was in jail, and you know, he would just tell me he was just being so encouraging, because that's how he used to be. He's a very nice and encouraging, loving person, and I always knew that it was underneath what was happening, you know. To this day, he's building his business back up from the ground up again, and he's doing pretty well for himself, and he's got a new place, and I see him all the time. We hang out every few days, and the relationship is as open and good as it ever has been, because I decided to try to understand what he was going through instead of just cutting him off. I just encourage people to like try to think of from their perspective, and try to understand what it's like to be a parent and have that responsibility, because it's a big responsibility.